What is... When looking for your favorite tools and supplies for your next flooring job, we have the absolute best place to shop online. Head on over to shagtools.com, the pro's choice for everything from cutters, adhesives, knee pads, shower systems, and more. Shag Tools carries all the premium brands you know and trust. In stock with fast shipping to either you or your job site. And right now, our new customers are going to receive 10% off their initial purchase using the code HUDDLE10. That's right, HUDDLE10 at shagtools.com. Welcome back to the Huddle. Sorry, I got to put my earbuds in here. Welcome back to the Huddle. We're your weekly playbook, helping you gain forward progress in your career. Simply put, we're here to help you win. We're also here to bring you the people that will help you win. And today, we've got Mr. Dave Garden, and we got Jerry with us as well to talk about our topic of the day, which is mastering, let me get this right because it's an important one, mastering the art of pattern and custom flooring installation. So this has come up a few times and been requested, so we thought we'd get the pros on here and give you guys some good info, as well as maybe some resources that you can go to after the podcast and be able to get in touch with CFI to learn some of this stuff and get your hands dirty on it. So for all our new viewers, welcome to the team. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, guys.
What's up, Dave? Hey, Jerry, how's it going?
Wide open, babe.
Wide open, babe.
Fantastic.
Love it. All right. Okay, so we're going to get this started by just talking a little bit about some of the complexities. I think it's pretty obvious about smile, Jerry. That's what Rollins said. I think it's pretty obvious that pattern matching is going to be more complicated than just a regular installation. When we're talking about pattern matching, though, I want to go across the board from carpet, residential, commercial. I know there's different techniques, and we're not going to go deep into techniques. They want to really, really learn it. We need to get them signed up for one of your courses at CFI. And but some of the tricks and trades and understanding how to set up a job maybe properly in that case. Also, pattern matching can go right over into sheet vinyl and some of the vinyl sheet products out there. So to kick it off, what is the course name for that people can kind of keep their radar open for at CFI for that would attack this particular topic?
Dave?
We got Dave.
Well, we have a, you ready? All right. We have a one-day pattern matching course, or a 2-day pattern matching course at CFI, and what they would be is pattern identification and correction courses. Now, they aren't certification; they are training courses. All right, and these courses are designed to help installers both identify and then correct patterns in carpets. All right, now what makes these courses so important is I don't know if you can go into any store or work as a flooring installer, a carpet installer especially, with some patterns 4 to 5 days a week. And complexities of them are not they are. What we do is very difficult, but it's also what we should be doing every day. So it should be standard knowledge to any installer.
Yeah, so these courses, that's a great spot to kind of start, is to understand that there is an outlet to actually go and learn this stuff, and some of the techniques and topics that we're going to talk about. So the very first part of that course is pattern identification. To me, that's like step one.
Right.
You got to
And
know there's a pattern and be able to identify it on any product.
It is.
And you get a lot of salespeople that will look at a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch pattern and they're like, "There's no pattern on this," and then that's how they price everything, and that's just not the
I
case.
agree
When
with
that small pattern typically takes the most time of anything.
Most
I'll tell you, in the commercial world, I would much rather have a 3-foot pattern than a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch pattern across a big room. I mean, by far.
Actually, in a commercial world, you want to deal with those panel matches, man. Those things are pretty slick.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit different and nice. Yeah, we do that a lot in the assisted livings, those panels. But so walk us through what the step one is, guys. Like, what is, when you say pattern identification? I mean, you look at a piece and you see a pattern. What do you mean by pattern identification?
Typically, whenever we have a class that's going on, the first thing we do is get them stick a post-it note, whatever, little round dots in their hand, and say, identify the patterns. Is it set match? Is it a draw match? Where are the patterns? Where's it at? Let them mark it. Ones that do not know, that you would really think that know. What's the difference between a set match and drop match? And what does that matter to you, especially all of you in the commercial field? The amount it saves you on a set match, I mean a drop match opposed to a set match, is maybe make you get the job or not get the job. Whenever the guy went there in front of you and he measured 3 inches plus a pattern every cut he had there, you might beat him out because you knew it was a drop match instead of a set match. It's a 1/4 inch drop, half drop, whatever. But identifying the pattern itself is major.
Will you define set match versus drop match?
It's kind of hard to do, but I can tell you, if you see the pattern going side by side and you're making a square of it, and that same pattern is dead in the center or a 1/4 down, it's about the best way I know how to tell you without showing you. If the 4 corners are the same, then you got one in the center, it's a half drop. If it's 2, it could be a 1/4 drop. All you'd have to do is move over a 1/4 or a half and drop down a half. Instead of losing 18 inches, you're only losing 9 inches per cut. Does that make sense to everybody?
So essentially, in practice,
Daniel,
when you're out
shaking.
measuring a job, we would go in, drop our first drop, our set drop, our main drop, and
Right.
we cut as we go. So you don't just go into a 30
Right.
by 30 room with a 2-foot pattern and just start adding 2 feet, or a 31 by 30 room. You don't just add 2 feet to
Exactly.
every drop.
See,
You go in, you mark
if
it,
you know
and you
that
measure from
pattern,
your mark to the next pattern, or
the
to
wall,
the end of
right.
your room. Yep.
Exactly.
Well, I'll tell you, patterns are very visual. Everything's visual, right?
But you got a lot of commercials
when we-
that, and they know what the cuts are, and they're just going to add whatever that
Yep.
lost you.
But whenever we were cutting patterns, and Jerry, your point is really good. Whenever we were cutting patterns, we'd always just, if it was a 2-foot pattern, we would count the patterns, because you'd be surprised at how often you have elongation all over the place, right? I mean, it's natural to what we're doing when you're cutting a pattern. So we would count the patterns and cut to the pattern, not to the measurement. Therefore, we knew we had a good starting point. Now, when you're talking about a drop match or a set match residentially, you're talking about, you could save if you have a drop match, you can save a lot of carpet right in the doorways, because you'll find that your set matches, there are times you have to bring your seams and put seams in odd places just to make sure your patterns line up. Because remember, you have to start in that hallway and lock everything into the hallway. And there are times that you do things that you wouldn't normally do if you didn't have a pattern. Now, if you're working commercially and you're working with wide open areas, you can actually lay the carpet out and you get a good visual just by standing off to the side and looking through. All right, which is a little bit more difficult residentially. So there are two different worlds.
Sure.
But as far as a drop match and a set match goes, residentially, those drop matches really save you time and effort.
So once you've got somebody and they learn how to identify the pattern, what kind of pattern it is, and the best way to do that, you have them do so by marking them on the carpet, and then we're talking about layout, like going forward. How are you going to do this job? What's the next step for after you've identified the pattern? Then you know what to cut, or at least you know how to cut your drops. But what's next after that? A lot of patterns aren't straight. A lot of patterns aren't even.
Well, first thing you have to do is find your locking points. That's what I always call them. There are points that you identify points in the pattern that you know are going to meet each other. All right, whether it be in a doorway or a hallway seam, or even a living room seam, residentially speaking, you get those locking points, and now you know where your pattern's got to go. And you lay them out, you can see that one might need to be stretched up to meet the other, and you could take care of all of that prior to doing the seam, prior to actually melting the seam. So once you get that pattern straight, and once you get it matched up, the seam becomes very simple. And again, I'm using the word simple when I shouldn't be, because none of this is simple, right?
Well,
not a
maybe
bit of
it's
this.
simple, just not easy, right?
No, commercially speaking, right? Commercially speaking, if you're working with adhesive projects, say you're doing a double stick and a large double stick, there's a lot more at play, because now you have to be concerned about your adhesive, how long it takes your adhesive before it tacks up, how much working time you have, then you got to straighten your patterns. So you got to take the bows out of them, the skews out of them, and all that good stuff, right? So,
And you can't build it. You can't build the seam before you glue. You can pre-stretch, like we will pre-stretch.
That's right, but
say you got a 3-foot pattern match at a casino, and you line up your center pattern, because I would always work from the center and go. Obviously, I'd work both directions as opposed to trying to stretch it all the way across the room. So I'd match that center, or what you call a locking point, and then see what I had to do and I'd pre-stretch everything. But carpet would you can get them to match up, and then it's going to shrink back. So you still have to stretch it and stay nail it and do all these things after you've glued it. But we would pre-stretch it, which I think is, do you guys agree with that? Because I think
essential.
It's something that so many commercial guys miss that would make your life a ton easier.
Well, what most commercial guys don't understand,
If you have,
if you ballroom, and you have to do this in a ballroom, you have the opportunity to do this in a ballroom. The extra time it takes you, not extra time. That's not extra. It's time you have to factor into the job, right? So it's not extra at all. You just have to factor the proper amount of time for the job, because what's going to happen is if you don't, you're going to end up working bitter. And working bitter that's not fun, guys. It's not fun at all.
I like how you put that. Working bitter. I've done that a time or two, I must say.
Yeah. I have too. That's why I can speak to it, man. There's not a lesson you can learn that I haven't already learned.
You asked, where do you start? I said, you asked where you start, identifying the carpet pattern. Okay, now, if you was doing a residential job, too many times we as installers, we start out with maybe a large living room, the den. We're cutting those large cuts off that roller carpet, and we're working in our master bedroom. We're going to save that hallway till we'll add it to our fill pieces that's going in the living room or diner, whatever. Maybe eliminate a seam. That's what we've done for years. The problem of it is, if we have a claim and they come out on that claim, that inspector wants to find out what your cut sheet was.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they don't realize what they're doing because I don't care if it's residential or commercial. 99% of the carpet roll at the flap, the pattern is larger than it is at the core. It shrinks at the core. So if you start off cutting all your large cuts off of the flap, now whenever you started working at the core, all your areas that you're working with, you're having to stretch, manipulate that pattern where it lines. The same thing on a commercial job. Knowing what that pattern match is, people think that in their mind that roll sequence means that number on that friggin' roll that shows you which roll's smaller roll to the big roll, which is the craziest thing that ever happened. Roll sequence is a pattern that's within the roll itself. You take in today's world, it might be 7 different mills coming off that same computer. And as it kicks, it's putting numbers in that computer. It might be coming from Calhoun, Georgia. It doesn't matter. Marietta, it don't matter. It's just popping up there. And you start trying to go to them roll numbers, you don't know where it's coming from. Now, if you roll that roll out, the first 5 to 10 feet of that roll, I don't fool with. The next 15, 20 feet, I'm going to do a pattern measurement.
When you say you don't fool with it, Jerry, you mean you don't use it for your pattern match identification purposes.
Correct. Identification on it because it's going to the last 5, 10 feet, the first 5, 10 feet seem like there's something wrong with that carpet. It's there. So I'll go in where I call the meat of the carpet and I get my pattern. That way I know exactly what those measurements are. So there's so many times, guys, I go out on a commercial field and I could show you, we do classes on it. And it looks like a snake going through there. The pattern looks off. And all I do is go through and do a pattern count. And I'm roll them up, guys. It's roll 1, it's roll 2, roll 3, roll them out. They're going, we don't need you no more. And you leave. And all you showed them how to do is count patterns.
So
you got, we have been 3 years ago. I put together a team. Dave wanted me to, and I did it. From the manufacturer, different people, the tech company, to come to convention, let them know what we could come out in the field to teach. And you realize that we never got but one facility that invited us over to show them carpet. We're talking about all the major manufacturers there. We got one coming up next month. You guys will hear more about it probably at convention. But you got Shaw, you got Mohawk, you got Milliken, you got Nurasan. Mannington. I'm trying to remember everybody's going to be there, guys. But all their tech guys, the major ones from Paul Carroll's, Bruce Gentry's of the world, going to be there to teach an inspector class, a claims class. People come in there that we've done the same thing for the union. The knowledge is out there, guys. And all you got to do, I see so many claims. That's all I dealt with since 95, 96. And they could be in the business for 30 years. And you take whenever the economy went rough, money had already been allocated to the commercial divisions. Those buildings already had been, and that carpet's going down. So you've got residential guys bidding a commercial job that didn't have a clue about commercial. Oh, you know the difference between a residential job and commercial. But then they get it, and then they realize they bid it too cheap. They didn't factor in all the layouts, moving carpet around, whatever they had to do. All they was used to doing is that mom and pop house. What I learned a long time ago, before CFI, knowledge was power. And the more knowledge we get, you guys are doing here, I applaud what you guys are doing, and I really do. I appreciate what you guys are doing to the industry.
All we do is tell people to go talk to them.
Whenever you got a closed mind, you've been here. Pardon me?
I said all we do is tell people to go talk to the pros like you guys.
Well, you got people that I don't care who you get up there, just
Yeah, one of the things
I'll tell you
that
I've handed.
Go ahead, Dave.
I've handed my number out throughout most of the East Coast. But when we get to the West Coast, because it works so late, I like to hand Jerry's out.
Try to keep away from those 10 o'clock calls.
Now, Jerry,
Well,
I want to ask you a couple of questions real quick, if you don't mind. He had mentioned a couple of things about
Go
pattern
for it.
measurement and pattern count. And this is something that can be taught in one of the classes that you guys offer. Could you elaborate on that a little bit for some of the viewers?
Everything is set up like on 12-foot, guys, 144 inches. The manufacturer, that's the way it is. And so whenever you look at a pattern, you might have 15 patterns in 145 inches, okay? What you do is you identify the pattern. And I try to get the same person running the dummy into the seaming tape. I tell them exactly where I want it. And I'm going to go be measuring the other side. That way, whenever I'm coordinating with the manufacturer, finding out if they've got more attic stock or whatever, or we got rolls of carpet down in the driveway and I'm up on the third, I don't be running back. I can tell them, bring me field up here for X amount of inches, 18 patterns in 145 and a quarter inch. If you're on a commercial job, every 1/8 inch matters because you got 94-foot lengths on that sucker, and the pattern's only off an 1/8 of an inch. It's off 7 inches at the other end. As long as you start in the middle, like Paul said, now you've divided that pattern. If it was off 7 inches, now that's only off 3.5 inches. You're going left 3.5 inches and right 3.5 inches. But pre-stretching, what he was saying, that's critical.
Yep.
Anybody that doesn't do that, they're hurting themselves. But
Well, I
guys,
hurt myself a lot before I learned that.
the pattern counting to me, the pattern measurements, as you want to put it. I don't care if it's a field piece in a residential or a roll of carpet. I've got a feel for it on a commercial job. I want to find out what those pattern measurements are. Like on that residential job that we had, the one roll of carpet. I'm going to cut. I might be adding a butt seam on a field piece near a wall, but I'm going to put the field piece between those 2 big cuts or 3 big cuts in the center. That way it's going to align with those patterns. I don't have to fight it. What we're trying to do on a residential job or commercial to save a seam, we're putting it all at the end of the row where we're dealing with all the small patterns in that row. Now I'm saying this, now I want to run up a red flag. If you got your roll of carpet and you looked at that roll and it's got plastic on the outside and it's got tape on the inside, that roll, probably your small patterns on the outside and not the inside. Do you understand what I'm saying? Whenever that comes from the manufacturer, trust me, when it comes from the manufacturer, it rolls over, they wrap it right then, it's gone. If somebody, I don't care, machine or whatever, told them, because you take the lasers they've got on today, they know when that carpet's out of skew, bow, and they're going to send it over and check to find out if it's out of tolerance. All that meant, it left that roll and went to quality control, and quality control now rolls that roll out. When they roll it out, they're rolling it backwards. Are you with me?
Rolled it backwards. That we lost 2.
Now, whenever they do that, they put tape on that roll and they send it over to the wrapper. So when you see tape on it, that meant that roll has been checked. And trust me, that's one of the first rolls I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at that roll first. I'm going to find out what's wrong. Why did they jerk that roll aside? Okay. And as you're rolling it out, you look for a cut mark on the salvage edge. You look for
there he goes.
Tape, markers, whatever. Okay. That lets you know right there they spotted something that roll, and that's where you want to check it.
So that roll essentially has been handled twice. So if you have 5 rolls and one roll is comes set up the way you just mentioned, that means that somebody looked at it again to make sure.
Well, I want to go back to your very first comment and question, Jose, and just try to surmise what has been said. Is essentially you could have, first off, identifying the pattern size is similar to tile. Like it says it's 24 by 24 tile, but how often do you
Okay.
pull out a tile and
Yeah.
it's 24 inches, right? It's 23 and a quarter, or it's 23 and 7/8 or whatever. And you got to use the grout joints to essentially turn that into a 24 by 24 tile. And sometimes you can't do that. But every architect and everybody thinks it's, when they say it's a 2 foot pattern match, that it's actually 2 feet. And it may be considered a 2 foot pattern match, but I've had on the width side, you know, not have, you have to cut into a pattern, you know, let's say on a commercial carpet, you're cutting the salvage off and into the carpet a couple of inches to get to the actual pattern. But when you
Yep.
measure the pattern after you've cut off your salvage, the roll width is, you know, 11 feet, 7.5, 7 inches or 6 inches or whatever. My point being is that a 2 foot pattern match doesn't always mean it's perfectly 2 feet. And if you were to just, you know, assume that, that could be a problem. So measuring a room and adding 2 feet is a waste of carpet if you don't mark your or do like Dave said. I never did that, and that's a great idea, is just count the
Right.
patterns. And if you're shy on the wall because you counted pattern and then made your cut, you might be half inch or an inch or whatever shy of that wall, but that's what you need to stretch to. Um, so I'm assuming that's what you meant by that, right, Dave? Like you count the patterns, and if say it's 6 patterns to finish the room, and you are starting at a full pattern at the base of the room, and you got 6 full patterns across it, you wouldn't, if you just measure and cut to the next pattern, you could be adding an additional pattern or something if it's like a 8 incher.
You absolutely, you could be cutting yourself short. You could be adding much. It's much as you. It's not only about where you end the room. It's about where you end the cut. It's about where you start the next cut. That's what's so important here.
Yes.
To make sure we start in the right spot. So if I have a pattern, we're going to say 2 feet, but it's actually 23 and a half, right? So if by the time I get to 20 feet, I've lost 5 inches. You understand what I'm saying? So I can't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut to that pattern. Therefore, I have got a good starting point as well as an ending point. And again, it's got to be larger than the room. All right.
Yeah, and a lot of times in these rooms, not to chime in here, but I did a lot of pattern matching when I did broadloom. Another thing is like measure the room itself first to kind of get especially if you're doing something like a big ballroom. I did a lot of large commercial stuff, so big areas, big rooms. If you got a big ballroom, you might want to start 3/4 pattern, or have your start at, you know, half pattern or less than a, you know, somewhere within the pattern to make it to fall where you can cut that and only maybe cut off 4 inches off of your next drop, so that when you come back down, your pattern is back on for your next drop. I may have really made that complicated sound.
You know what? It all makes sense
As I
to people
listen to
that
myself
understand
saying,
it. Look, so here's what I did. Look, I just drew this little example, right? I just drew this little example up. Same pattern count. One pattern with 6 tiles is going to be longer than the other, and obviously the measurement's going to be different. That's extreme, but it gives you a visual.
yeah. Yeah, so when you guys are getting into you know, mastering the art is how this topic starts. But it starts really, as you've said a couple of times, Dave, simple, but then you corrected yourself, said it's not really too simple, but it's simple to you because you're a master 2 dude. But mastering the art of pattern matching does start with the most simple of aspects, which is identifying it. And then what do you have to do to get that pattern on if you have bow and skew in a pattern match? So maybe we can move into some of that stuff and what is recommended from mills and others if you have some of those issues. I've seen I just want to tell a horror story. I've seen a terrible situation on a it wasn't a huge pattern match, but a smaller. I think it was probably was not our job, but probably a 1 foot ish by 1 foot, something like that. It was a organic kind of pattern, but it was clear that the installer row cut and then just there was a bow or something in it, and they just overlapped and trace cutted the next piece, and that pattern goes from full pattern to small pattern back to bigger pattern. So that's not the right way to fix it, is it?
Oh,
no. I'm glad you guys
that's how it came.
Was the customer happy?
Well, I don't know if they got paid, but it was still down. So I mean, somebody left it.
That's it's interesting what we do see in the field, and it's mind you, most of the installers that we deal with really want to do a good job. All right, they want it. Nobody's ever really shown them how to do that correctly, what the simple nuances are of lining that up. And I think one of the most misunderstood and misspoken phrases in our industry is what a mill tolerance is. And I've had people working with me. I've had family members tell customers that a mill tolerance meant that's what you could leave. Not my little brother, if you're listening, Doug. I know I invited you. Other family members. It's almost embarrassing, right? You sit there and you look at a job, and residentially speaking, you walk down a hallway, you're going to automatically your subconscious is going to follow the pattern. So if that pattern is bowed or skewed off into the wall, you better not put any pictures on those walls. Because you're subconsciously going to knock them off. It's like you're always walking down the hallway drunk.
Well, and it's the same in commercial. And I just want to say, like, at least in residential, you have some tack strip and things that you can pull that stuff out. When you have that with commercial, you better have a good adhesive. I mean, you got to have
it's all about the
proper adhesive, and you got to have the right amount of adhesive. Aside of making sure you have all the technical stuff. And speaking of adhesives, I'd like to bring up today's sponsor of the Huddle, which is Divergent Adhesives. If you need a great adhesive for any of your flooring needs, go to divergentadhesive.com. Check them out. Sonny over there does a great job, and Divergent is a well-known brand in our industry. If you see the Divergent there, you know Sonny is the mascot for that. So make sure that you're using high quality adhesives, high tack, high grab, things like that when you are having to fix these pattern matches. So yeah, in commercial, when we're doing it, like we try to pre-stretch a lot of this stuff out. And I see Pruitt on here. He's done a ton of my assisted livings over the years. He's commenting and saying pattern sequences versus roll sequencing, talking about something we were talking about earlier.
Can you see?
Yeah. So
can you see?
Dwayne was just picking out his future bedroom.
They told me that this is a 112 foot. That's a 112 foot entryway to a hotel. They said it had a white line in the carpet. They never cut the salvage off. They never lined the pattern up. They didn't realize.
And they glued it like that?
The tech that I called, which was Bruce Gentry on his job, he said, I bet they got paid too, didn't they?
And talking about that earlier on you asked Dave, was the customer happy? I have no idea because it wasn't our job, but I can tell you what drives me nuts is I'm like, I could have never gotten away with something like that. Like it seems like if I have a plug up against a wall in a corner that
somebody finds
it gets found.
Yeah.
Like how does this stuff get gotten away with? But anyway, that's just I
don't mean to laugh at that, but man.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. In peace, they leave that there, so it's obvious that it's got to come off. But I guess
not obvious enough, obviously. So
yeah.
One
Dwayne
of the
says
things
they want Dwayne over there, Jerry. And then over on Instagram, the floor god did say we are CFI. So just wanted to let everyone know that Mario is supporting over here.
Awesome,
Yeah,
buddy.
buddy. So one of and I know we're bouncing back and forth between commercial and residential. So if you don't do both, we're trying to cover a big demographic of installation here, and there's
Yeah.
different methods. And this gets really deep. But I did want to ask Dave, on your pattern match on the 1 and 2 day course, does that cover commercial and residential, or do they need to do the commercial 2 certification more, or is there
No,
what's
that's
the best
just
method
a
for-
class. It's tailored. It's more tailored to commercial, but can
Okay.
be easily and readily adaptable to residential.
Well, you still use stay nails and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
on my double stick stuff that I've done over the years, I mean, I'll put tack strip on a commercial job to be able to stretch and hold and do things on a double stick glue down. I mean, I'll put tack strip right up against the wall, even if I go back and take it up because I have to for whatever reason. I'll put it down to help my job out.
I liked using 1/4-inch pad, and a 1/4-inch pad you can get away with the tack strip around the walls. Jerry will let you know not to do that, and anything that's less than 1/4-inch pad, because it will create a
Creating
picture
a
frame.
curb.
Oh yeah, you gotta take it out. But I've removed it. I've went
Yeah,
around with it and just removed it and squirt glue and that last little thing. That's days later after everything's good and set up.
It's
And I've
according to
even had it.
It's according to how much traffic is going in the area, guys. When he says 1/4-inch, I'm behind 1/4-inch all day long. Do I like putting tack strip on wall on a double stick? Sure I do. But if we're doing I'm trying to think. 2 years ago, we used double stick pad there at services, and one of the reasons Roy won that tournament that time, he's the only one that realized that padding wasn't 1/4-inch. All them guys put tack strip down, left it down. No, it's going to picture frame. But it's just little things you throw out there. I'm looking over here that Dwayne Pruitt asked about pattern sequencing against versus roll sequences. We covered that about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think he was hearkening back to your it was
When
either
we were
yours
talking
or-
about it.
I think it was your comment, Jerry. Yeah, that you were talking about that a lot of guys think that it's patterns that
Are the
that
rolls.
sequencing is sequencing of the rolls, which
Right.
Correct.
In vinyl,
in vinyl it's
Yeah.
Oh,
a
yeah.
must.
or resilient, yeah.
But it's talking
There's so
about
many
patterns.
different worlds, though, guys. You take the classes going on next month. It's covering carpet completely. I don't care if it's carpet tile, broadloom, hospitality, residential. It's there.
Where's that class at?
If you remember Scott Bohacker, I had to think a minute. Scott's facility, we're putting on one, I think it's the 27th, 28th next month. There at Scott's.
Help.
And where is Scott at? Do you know? For
He's in
the-
It's in Calhoun.
Georgia. Calhoun, Georgia.
Calhoun, Georgia.
We started working that before CFI got a facility. You guys know me, I believe Burgundy. I'm CFI of the bone. But I'm going to say something about Scott. I know he's aligned himself with a particular facility. It's
Training
not,
entity?
yes.
The NAFCT?
But listen, guys, his facility there is state of the art. He has to pay the bills no matter what. He wants anybody and everybody to come in there. I'm gonna plug for him right now. And the reason we had talked about doing it there, opposed to the building that CFI had at the time, there's no air conditioning, no heat in that building back there where they're working. They run fans in summertime. You can't hear over yourself. I love them to death, but you guys know me. I bleed burgundy. I promote them. I don't care if I'm in Timbuktu, but there's times that old man don't like to be on the job. And Scott's got a great
Most of
facility.
You're like, wait a second.
There.
Isn't the
it's
HVAC
cheap.
supposed to be on before we do flooring?
Yeah.
Bottom line is beautiful.
Jerry, you get rotten all the wrong places.
Sometimes you gotta bring the gold bond with you, Jerry. You just gotta douse it up. Medicated.
Real good.
little medicated gold bond, and you'll be fine, Jerry.
No, so yeah, it looks like it's August 18th and 19th over at Beaumont Flooring. So if anyone wants to look that up, I'm pretty sure you can find it over on Beaumont Flooring's Facebook page.
No, it's the 20. It's 27. Somebody told you wrong. It's 27th,
Is there another one?
28th of October. You're looking at one we did not have. I lost.
This one is from August.
I lost my father. Yeah, we lost. I lost my father, and I put that one off, guys. I just wasn't.
Sorry for your loss, brother.
Wasn't up for that.
Well, that's
I appreciate
understandable.
that, but no, I got to wait.
So that one,
we put that on back shelf for a few days.
Okay, yeah, sorry for your loss, and yeah, they just haven't updated the dates on here then.
It's in October the 27th, 28th.
so the point being, guys, if you want to learn a lot of this stuff, like Jerry just said, they're going to be teaching all things carpet, and I assume pattern matching is going to be in there as well.
Yes.
And then
I think Scott brought it up to you guys. Who else going? You got Paul Carroll from Shaw. You got Bruce Gentry from Mohawk Group. You got Dave Carter from Milliken. You've got Anthony Faulkner from Mannington. You got Kenny Miles from Neurison covering woven. Man, I'm missing people. You got Shane
Jenkins,
Yep, from Shernock. Guys,
Doyle
I'm forgetting
Slaughter
people.
from
You got
Tarquette.
LeBron. You got Doyle Slaughter from Tarquette. Yes.
And then
You got LeBron there's going to be covering Michael Sheeran.
Henry Carr and Billy
This
Simmons.
is all at the
powerlifting.
October
It's
event.
going to be awesome. It's a 2-day class. It's awesome. But guys, we put this on. We brought it before at CFI 3 years ago, I believe it was, and we've had one time that we've been asked to come out, and we did it for the union in Henderson over two years ago. But any workshop, whatever that's going on that needs, trust me, get in touch with John and them. I started saying, I'm looking at Dave.
Give a CFI.
I'm hoping-
You can go to the website and probably find the
Yes.
training on there. I would assume it's on the website. And
Yeah, they
and,
still haven't changed
reach
the
out.
dates yet either, but sounds like it's a lot of learning, and it does require 5 years of flooring inspection experience.
Well, on that class, that's an inspection class. You take the one we did
Okay.
for union, that was just strictly for union. We dedicated. We're like a 10-speed bike, guys. You put me in gear, we can make it
So I
happen.
think
but the
one
one,
of
the one that's coming up is open for all, right?
We got everybody there. But it's going to be for inspector. It's for carpet. Now you can be. There's some people's coming there for claims, and some of the tech people come there. They just want to get a certificate of training on commercial carpet. So you get a certificate of training. You got people that's going to be in workshops there.
Yeah.
It was
Sounds very
designated
interesting,
originally for inspectors. It was designated for inspectors, but we realized right quick that a lot of people wanted that knowledge where there was an inspector.
Well, I've been a big proponent, as well as the preferred flooring. Both gentlemen on this podcast, we've talked many a times that how beneficial inspection courses can be for installers too. If you do a lot of floors and you install a lot of floors, understanding how inspectors look at stuff is not a bad thing to know.
Nope.
No.
You deconstruct the whole project, then you end up knowing what to look for, right? If you know what to look for, you know what to prevent.
Yep.
You know what to prevent.
I'm gonna be truthful. I'm gonna. You're talking about inspectors. I'm not. The reason that we're doing that for is a lot of them do. You got some good ones out there, and you've got some that just whoever's paying them. I'm just being truthful with you. I remember Kenny Miles and I've been on a job site, and that inspector pulled up. He looked at us. We was CFI badged out. We was looking like we were somebody. And he said, he walked around there. I guarantee you 30 minutes. What am I supposed to be looking for? I kid you not. We just looked at each other. You mean write your report for you too? I mean, that's the way it was. But guys, we're trying. The knowledge is out there. There are people like I'm looking up there at Rollin. He and I about the same age. They're not. We got a lot
That's
of
what he
old timers
said.
out there that we won't be around much longer, and we need to be. Get the knowledge out while we can. I'm serious.
Yeah.
You can
And I
reach out
think
to
that's what
Rollin, Dave, myself, CFI. It don't matter. We at CFI have been knowledge sharing. That's what we do. Now, I don't tell you everything I know, but now if you ask me a question, I'm going to do my best to give you a correct answer. If not, I'll put you in touch with somebody that can. But feel free to holler, Raleigh, Dave, me. I'm trying. We got so many guys out there from Rod Bonbush to Don Staka. I mean, we got guys that you reach. What's the beautiful part about? I remember a crew that we did in we had certified them in Maryland area, and they called on a Sunday night about 2:00 at that time. Lord, I can't think. His name is dead now. Dadgummit. Anyway, they run out of glue and they had to be finished at 7:00. Man, somebody help me with his
Been
name.
there.
Who?
I don't know, but I've been there.
Anyway,
Don.
he went to the warehouse, I called him. They called me. I called him. He went to his warehouse there at Fishman Flooring and took a van, met them halfway and said, call me on the credit card Monday, and turned around and went back. They asked you, are you worried about space? I said, Jerry Miller called, told me to be here. I'm here. We have worked with each other. It's just not just knowledge. It's sharing. And that, guys, that's what you guys are doing. I'm so proud of you. What Dave and John
and
has
I
done.
really love the way that CFI, like, you know, they bring the salespeople in too to give them the knowledge,
Yes.
so that way they know what we go through as installers. It's not just, you know, installing floors. There's science behind things. You know, it takes skill, it takes technique, and they really bring those people in to and give them that class that shows them, you know, exactly what we go through on a daily basis.
I've been a big proponent of that too, Daniel. I think that the biggest thing is creating a team, right? You need to feel really the installers that work for Main Street store wherever. We always complained about having to go in the back door, right? But the thing is, if we as installers are able to create a team with the salespeople, where the salespeople understand what we see on job sites, then it's much easier for them to sell our service, and then therefore they can get away from selling a price. They can sell a service, which is what we are, and it takes a firm knowledge and understanding of what we do when we're on our hands and knees. And the fact remains, we work for them, right, as much as they work for us, and together we make the customer. We leave the home. The customer.
Well, that's why it's so important that, like you said, Dave, that there's a
Magazine.
yeah. You cut out there for a second, but
Paul's
that
really
is
good at filling that blank space. He's right in there.
that is
He's good at reading
you cut
glitches.
out. So I was starting to say that we've talked plenty of times about having good cohesiveness between salespeople and the installation team. Often in retail, that is one of the main complaints from the installation community, is that they're selling things that they cannot possibly accomplish, whether it be due to floor prep and all these things. And we had an entire podcast about just that. But the point is that retailers should take pride in who they have installing, have a way to show the community that they're selling to, that they have a great installation team or teams working for them, and sell that service. Leverage. I did a talk at Tice a couple of years back about leveraging your installation teams as a sales point. Quit selling. We all sell the same stuff. stuff right behind me is the same stuff my competitor down the street has.
Yeah.
It's not got anything to do with that. It's got to do with this up here with me and my crews and my installation leaders, and that stuff is what makes it a better experience for the end user, whether that's a doctor's office or a home. It doesn't matter. Most people are selling very similar products or the same exact product. It's about how well it's installed that adds the value. And I love that saying that I think I can't remember who said it, but I heard it at a CFI meeting once was, that flooring doesn't have, it's all like has zero value until it's installed. It's just a piece of another fabric, and it has zero value until it's installed properly. And so that's why CFI exists. That's why all the training entities exist, is to share knowledge. CFI is the leader and has for years and years been around to teach these courses. And you guys have blessed us today with sharing some of your knowledge. We got started a little late, so are you guys okay running a few minutes past 4 here?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just wanted to just touch on some stuff too, is because the way that Jerry was saying, it's your network, right? You know these people, and then you can call on them, ask them questions,
Yes.
and get some answers, or in some cases some adhesive on a weekend when everyone is closed.
help.
And the best way to do stuff like that is networking, right? And Dave, you guys have the event next week. You want to touch on that? Oh, he's frozen again.
Are you talking about our convention?
Yes,
talking about the
we're
convention.
talking about convention.
Oh,
Synergy.
convention. That's next week. Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys, that's where we teach. That's where installers that are like-minded. We learn from each other. Not only at the likes of Jerry Miller at CFI, right? And I can honestly say he's one of my mentors. That mind you, it takes somebody stepping out of their box, out of their comfort zone, because unless you make yourself get well known, got an outgoing personality, but
don't say,
guys, we get to, that's where I met you guys, right? It's all through CFI, and making those contacts, guys, lifelong. But I know if I have a resilient question, I can call Don Steika, I can call Joe Sia, right? And these guys,
I feel like I gotta fill in, and I hate to do it, but essentially he's being very open and clear that getting to convention or getting to these different events have immense networking power, where if you need help on a project, you can reach out to somebody. You're gonna learn. You're going to.
He's still talking.
Yeah, I know he is. You're gonna meet some people there. Dave was just saying that's where he met us. Well, that's also I met Jose and Daniel at ICE. So it was one of those. It was an event that we met, and I met Jerry at CFI. So yeah, getting together and sharing knowledge, and then sharing contacts, both of those things can be greatly beneficial to you getting a job done.
So
that was Pat Fells that came from Fishman. You got that. Dave's still trying to talk, isn't he?
He wasn't done yet. He's got to get those thoughts out. He's got to get them out. It don't matter at any cost. Just get them out.
There.
We'll have him rejoin. What was you saying, Jerry?
I said that was Pat Fells that brought that adhesive to them boys that night.
Yeah,
that's what Rollins said right
dead
here.
Gone. He was a CFI hero.
There you go.
Yeah, there's been a few of those, and I bet if everybody was to comment on a time of that, I remember plenty of times going and picking up stuff on the weekend. Now we do all flooring, so we do tile and stuff. Dow Tile, our local Dow Tile, rocks it that way. I've called that manager multiple times and then like, I know you ain't open Saturday, but I need 40 bags or 100 bags of self leveler. I don't care if you just go stick it outside your shop. I'll come pick it
Yeah.
up. He's like, no, I'll wait for you and forklift it into your truck, and my guys will go get it. And I mean, those relationships, building a network, like Daniel was saying, is a lot of what we're talking about. Building this community, the Huddle community. We share our emails. I've had Facebook messages and phone calls. I know Daniel and Jose both have as well. It's all about building a community together where we can rely on each other for knowledge when we fall short. That does not take away the need to get formalized training and get that done. And then you still have, trust me, there's always someone better than you that you can lean on to get some knowledge. I was talking to Daniel just last week, early last week, or maybe it was the week before, about a difficult situation I have going with some freaking sheet vinyl, not even sheet vinyl. It's freaking bio-based sheet flooring.
PVC free.
Non-PVC.
Non-PVC is the proper way to say it.
Eye doctor
but,
appointment
yeah,
today, guys. So I had my glasses
working on
on.
it.
Sorry, I looked like a stunner the whole time, but
He's a patcher. He looks cool. You got is that an eyeball on there?
my googly.
Can't even tell.
So anyway, we have come to the end of the podcast. I want to thank our guests, Jerry and Dave, for joining us today, talking through some of the, we'll call it simple, but it's the very beginning parts of becoming a master. If you want to compete on, show your skill and compete at the highest level, make sure to scan the QR code on your screen right now and join the Installer of the Year competition. This year it's closed, obviously. It's just around I don't know that. I misspoke there. It's not closed. There's plenty of other regionals and stuff going on.
More. There's
two more.
Denver on October 11th and then Dalton on October 25th. And I'm on the registration page right now. And it's still there. So I'm pretty sure you can enter. You got to put your money where your mouth is.
Something.
Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
I wish your connection was better, my friend. You got something good getting ready to come out of your goal.
I'm gonna hide the camera and keep the audio. See if that works.
There you go, Dave.
Dave,
we're saying bandwidth for you.
Go ahead, Dave. Talk.
There you go. You guys hear me?
There you go. We can hear you. Yep.
All right. So if you have we have installers out there who have fantastic, absolutely fantastic skill set, right? And if they really want to show it off, when they get in that regional, go to Dalton. Get in front of those manufacturers. The foot traffic we get there from the manufacturers last year was astounding. It was people that were walking through there from the manufacturers. You want to pair. Go there. We got was it Dan Churchill signed up and Jimmy Salisbury signed up there so far. And we got some other guys on.
These are really highly rated guys. Yeah, there's a lot of really good guys down there. I think Dave's saying get down to Dalton and show off and get going. If you win one of those, or there's some qualifying things, you can qualify for the Installer of the Year at Tice. So scan the QR code and go show off your stuff. For those of you just kind of getting started, like find a good mentor, get involved with CFI, get involved with one of the training entities. We are training agnostic on the Huddle. So I don't care where you go. I'd rather you get trained than not trained at all. I don't care what anyone says. Proper training is necessary to be really successful in this industry. And plus it shows that you're a professional. So let's do that. I want to thank all of our guests today and all the comments. I'm sorry if we didn't get to all of your comments, but we were rolling with some pattern match mastery over here. I want to thank Divergent Adhesive for sponsoring today's show. Remember, hey, you got to have a good adhesive when you're trying to pattern match, baby. You got to go check out Divergent Adhesives. Show them some love. They're a great sponsor. Sonny's a great guy, and I really appreciate their sponsoring the Huddle and getting the word out there. Jerry and Dave, thank you so much. Dave, sorry that your connection was having so much issue. I felt the passion through the, but I hope that you next time we can firm up the old connection, and we'll have another great show. Thanks, everybody. Give us a like and subscribe on our socials, on our YouTubes. Check us out and come see us at convention. Jose and I'll be there. We're going to be shooting a live episode of the Huddle with a live audience at convention. So come see us.
Bring me a custom eye patch.
Heck yeah, get him a custom one. And it's at 5 p.m. instead of 3. So next week's
that's Central.
Yes, next week's episode will be at 5 p.m. Central, not 3 p.m. Central, which is what, 4 Eastern, so it'd be 6. You guys are all be off work at that time, so join us. We'll have a live audience, and we got a great show planned for you guys. So thank you, everybody, and we will catch you guys next week.